If you have used YouTube, Hulu, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or any other video streaming platform, odds are that you have been bombarded with ads that include words like Ozempic, Mounjaro, semaglutide, insulin, shot, GLP-1. If this has been your experience, you are not alone. Just recently, I was in college studying to become a dietitian when I had a roommate come up to me and ask if I had heard about the diabetes medication that all the celebrities in Hollywood are stealing to lose weight. I hadn't heard of it, and now I can't stop hearing about it. I spent years recovering from an eating disorder, trying to get rid of body dysmorphia, trying to learn to accept myself and practice body neutrality. And all of these ads for weight loss can be kind of triggering, especially, for example, the one with Serena Williams, who for a long time has been an example of a body built on strength and ability rather than the thin ideal. Overall, I was getting big time ick at how accessible these ads were making this drug seem. So I decided that I needed to finally do an in-depth review of what a GLP-1 really is, what are the risks, and what are the rewards. I listened to a lot of podcasts, I read a lot of articles, I even watched the South Park episode about it, and here is what I have learned. Glucagon-Like peptide-1 receptor agonist, also known as GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide-1 agonists, GLP-1 receptor agonists, incretin mimetics, and GLP-1 analogs, is a drug that helps hormones that are already in the body. This results in lower appetite, feeling full for a longer amount of time, it taking a longer amount of time to move the food from the stomach to the rest of the digestive system, and lower blood sugar. And for many people, ultimately weight loss. Glucagon-like peptide receptor 1 agonist was approved to help those with type 2 diabetes in 2005. In 2014, it was approved as a means for weight loss. Here is a list from Harvard Health Publishing of certain GLP-1s that are currently on the market, in case you were curious. So, who is this drug for? The FDA has approved GLP-1s for those who are obese and for those who are overweight, but also have a coexisting condition such as high blood pressure. Benefits of the GLP-1 may include reduced blood pressure, improvements for those that have lipid disorders, improvement in fatty liver disease, a lower risk of heart disease, and a lower risk of kidney disease. For those that are living in a bigger body and as a result of that experiencing back pain, osteoarthritis, gout, and other conditions, using this medication for weight loss can be really beneficial to their quality of life and their health. And of course, it is oftentimes prescribed to those who have type 2 diabetes. Those are the group of people that the drug was intended for. Who is this drug not for? I decided to become a little bit of an investigative journalist, and I went on to one of the websites that is selling the GLP-1, and I had to fill out a series of questions. One of them was, are you wanting to take this drug for a special event? And then it listed out the options like a vacation or a wedding or whatever. And it's all about looking a certain way rather than feeling a certain way. And speaking of ordering GLP-1s online, please don't. It is essential to have a conversation with your doctor, your therapist, your dietitian about what your goals are, what's your medical history, what are your needs. Ideally, these people care about you, and I promise the ones running these companies don't. They care about your money. It is my professional opinion as a registered dietitian that the GLP-1 should be reserved for those who have chronic conditions that can only be resolved through the GLP-1. It is not intended for those that are just trying to meet societal beauty standards. This was displayed very well in the Ozempic South Park episode, when there were a group of moms in their 40s and their 50s that were hoarding every dose of Ozempic in their town because they wanted to make their bodies look more like the bodies of their 13-year-old daughters. Ultimately, GLP-1 will drain the bank. Plus, there are many potential side effects that go along with taking the medication, so you might as well only experience those if you really have to. And by the way, a group of people that I really don't think should be taking this medication are kids and teenagers. In this phase of life, there is so much growth and development going on. It is essential to make sure you are getting all the nutrients that you need to sustain that growth and development, especially when it comes to the bones. During this phase of life, there is so much bone strengthening and mineralization, and that can't occur if you're not getting the proper nutrition to facilitate that. When their skeleton is strengthened during this phase of life, it helps keep it strong for the rest of their life. I don't like the idea of jumping to appetite suppression for a child. What adolescents really need is a lot of physical activity and a lot of nutrition and a lot of love. What are the potential side effects of taking a GLP-1? According to the Cleveland Clinic, these may include loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, dizziness, increased heart rate, infections, headaches, upset stomach, pancreatitis, medullary thyroid cancer, sudden kidney injury, worsening diabetes-related retinopathy, allergic reactions, and blood sugar that is dangerously low. Please do not take a GLP-1 if you are pregnant or if you are planning on getting pregnant, because there are some studies that show that birth defects may occur. Also, when you are pregnant, you need to get extra nutrition. You shouldn't be suppressing your appetite to lose weight. You should be gaining weight to sustain you and the baby. Basically, just how any prescription medication may have potential side effects, GLP-1 is the same. So it's pretty common knowledge that one of the goals of the GLP-1 is to suppress appetite, therefore making people lose weight, therefore helping resolve their chronic illnesses and pains. But I've read a lot of studies at this point, a lot of articles, and I have yet to see or have barely seen any mention of malnutrition as a potential side effect, because basically, for a lot of people, it's not the side effect, it's the goal. Every single individual needs to make sure that they are getting adequate nutrition. We all need to get enough iron. We all need to get enough magnesium. We all need to get enough carbohydrates. We all need to get enough of all the nutrients. Something that becomes tricky with those who are on a GLP-1 is balancing that lack of desire to eat with the fact that they still need to eat. A great recommendation is to set multiple alarms throughout the day to remind oneself when they should be eating a snack or when they should be eating a meal, in case they're having a really hard time regulating their body cues that usually tell them when they're hungry or full. Please do not skip meals. Aim for 3 meals a day or maybe 5 or 6 small meals throughout the day. Everyone's very obsessed with the protein. Usually that makes me kind of upset, not because protein isn't important, but because it's rude to the other nutrients that are important too. We need carbohydrates, we need fats, we need sodium, we need all these things. It's not just the protein show. But when it comes to GLP-1s, oh boy, is protein important. Because along with this weight loss that's occurring, there's a very good chance that muscle is being lost as well. Muscle is a great way to sustain our health. We should not be losing it. We should be working to gain it and preserve it. This is especially concerned for the elderly population who don't have a lot of muscle to begin with. So if they're taking a GLP-1 and they lose the little muscle they had, that is not good. So yes, make sure you are getting the protein that you need, whether you're on a GLP-1 or not. Make sure you are strength training in order to better utilize that protein and keep and obtain more muscle. If you're trying to avoid carbohydrates or fats and just eat protein, that protein's not going to be utilized for muscle. It's going to be utilized as fuel. Speaking of macronutrients, did you know that water is a macronutrient? And did you also know that there is a risk of dehydration when you're on a GLP-1? Make sure you are getting sufficient water throughout the day. Bring your Stanley cup around, or your Hydro Flask, or your rinsed out milk jug, whatever it may be. Keep it in front of you as a reminder that you need that hydration. Exactly how much protein do you need? How much fiber do you need? How much calcium do you need? These are all very good questions, and the answer is, it depends. The best thing that you can do to figure out what you need specifically is to meet with a registered dietitian, like me, or like Nikki. Me and Nikki are both registered dietitians with Mad City Psychology, so if you are living in the state of Wisconsin, we would be happy to help you out and figure out what your needs are. And this is Haley, and this has been Food for Thought.